Thank you so much for watching this presentation. This is Arnob here from GoldenLion. So Real Estate CRM is built by GoldenLion on the award-winning Zoho CRM product. And this application is meant for real estate developers as well as real estate brokerage agencies. It could be both residential brokerage firms as well as commercial brokerage firms. So in this video, I'll walk you through step by step how you can really use this application to take your business to the next level. Now, in the morning when you log into the application, this is your home page. So primarily the way we advise that you set up your home page in a way that from the home page itself, you should be able to run your business as efficiently as you can. So if you can see in the home page, you can pretty much see the different properties by the property status. That means that whether the property is available, how many properties have been sold, how many properties where the contract has been out, and in how many properties the contract has been signed, so on and so forth. It will also give you the split that how many properties are commercial and how many properties are residential over here. Then you could also see the deals by stages, like for example, how much worth of business is lying where your customer or prospective customer is interested. How much worth of business at a stage where the contract has been signed, how much in the offer stage, so on and so forth. So that pretty much defines your sales pipeline over here. You could also see the deals by requirement type. So for example, how many deals where people are looking for buying a property vis-a-vis possibly taking a property on rent. And even within the buy category, how many are resale type of property and how many are new property. You can see the split pretty well over here. You could also see the deals by property category. So for example, how many properties are commercial, how many are residential, and even within residential, how many are residential land, how many are apartment, or how many are independent house or villa. Okay. You could also look at the deals by sales executives, because I'm sure that there will be multiple people who will be working in your company. So you could look at for each salesperson, like how many deals where the contract has been signed, how many deals where the contract has been out, or how many deals where it is in the offer stage, so on and so forth. So you get the complete distribution over there. Also the leads by sales executives, so that you really see that who are leading the race or who are lagging behind, so that people who are lagging behind possibly need some little help from you. That's how you really take the entire sales force forward. Okay. You could also pretty much see the leads by the requirement type over here. So for example, how many leads who have shown interest for buying a property vis-a-vis taking a property on rent, or leads by property category over here. Okay. So at the last dashboard, which is extremely important over here, is the leads by source, because I'm sure that the sources which are contributing to your lead would be extremely crucial, and it's important for you to know what's the distribution of the same. For example, how many leads you are getting from your website vis-a-vis from inbound call or inbound email, or knowing this distribution is going to be extremely crucial for you. Also the properties by the property category over here. Okay, now while these dashboards come out of the box, you can also possibly go ahead and change some of these dashboards based on the information need that you have from the application. So that's absolutely up to you. You can really customize each of these components which would be there on your home page. Now in the real estate business, everything will revolve around property. Okay, so properties become the focal point of this application. So let me get inside the properties module over here. So if you look at the properties, this will primarily house all your properties that you have. Okay, now let me get inside maybe one specific record and walk you through step by step over there. So let me get inside this property. So each property will have a property code. Of course, the property name would be there, and if you look at over here, there is some standardization that you have done the way the property name would be displayed. Like it will first have the property code, then it will display like if it's a residential property, like how many BHK, then in terms of the property type, like whether it's a residential apartment or any other category, then what's the square foot area of the same. You could also look at whether the property has been listed for sale or for rent. If it is for sale, you could also look at whether it's been listed for as a new property or for resale. You could also look at the property category. That means whether it's for residential or for commercial. If it is residential, you could also see this distribution or the choices over there, like whether it's a residential apartment or independent house or residential land, so on and so forth. If you change it to commercial, you'll see that the options will also pretty much change over here. Okay, then you could look at like on which location these are located. Of course, all these drop downs, you could go ahead and change this part of it. What's the square foot area of this specific unit or a property? How many bedroom, how many bathroom, the parking space, and whether this property belongs to a specific project. Okay, so this is important. Like if this property is built by a specific developer, you could go ahead and tag that part of it from here. On which floor this is located and the property status. Like every property will start from the available stage, and then as and when it moves through the different life cycle, the other stages will be updated automatically. As and when you keep updating the deal stage, the property status will also get changed automatically over here. And of course, the property images, you can go ahead and capture those part of it over here, and the property address information would be captured over here, the price over here. Like for example, if it is meant for selling, then you pretty much capture the selling price over here. If it is for rent, you capture the rent per month. And for rent, you can also capture like for how many months of deposit you want to keep it over here. So you could pretty much tag, and then you put down over here like who is the listing owner or the landlord company name and the primary contact of that. Okay, and once the property gets sold, automatically the new landlord company and the contact name would be tagged over there. Okay, so that's on the property side of it. Now, as I mentioned, that there will be some property where it would belong to a specific project. So you can see the project will be like the parent entity of a property. Projects model, you can see the list of all the projects. So let me get inside a specific project over here. So you can look at that. What's the project name? Who has developed this specific project over here, and what's the location of the specific project, and in this project how many properties are there. So you can look at there will be multiple properties would be listed in this specific project with their listing type, the category over here, the square foot area, the bedroom, the location, the property status would get changed automatically. So you see kind of all the elements related to a specific project into one single place. Okay. Now, once you have the property and the related project with the developers, you start looking for leads. That means the people who might be interested in terms of buying a property or taking a property on rent. Okay. Now, there could be different ways that you could get lead from the marketplace. So for example, it could be via your website, it could be somebody has sent you an email, somebody has called you, maybe from referral, maybe from social media, or maybe you have a live chat on your website, you might be getting from there. Or traditionally, if you're using maybe Excel spreadsheet, you might want to import that as well into the system. So this application supports all these different form factors, and you could pretty much use all these different sources in order to capture lead into this application. So let me go ahead and demonstrate that part of it. So if you look at in this application, one of the very cool things that you have, that when you are working on the CRM, you could also see that how many visitors are there on your website. Okay, so that's a very, very powerful functionality, because with every passing day, the business development and the marketing is converging. Okay, and so sitting at one place, you could pretty much see that people who are visiting your website. So you could look at that part of it. So you could look at, okay, this one visitor is an unknown visitor from India who has visited 2 pages, and currently in the real estate agency page over here, he has been there on the site for about more than 30 minutes. So that's quite a long time. So possibly he's interested. So what you could do over here, like you might want to initiate a quick chat over here. You could look at pretty much, so this is yourself. You could look at he's the person who has been there on your website, and you could look at pretty much like from which location he has come into your website, which page he's browsing now, whether they're a new visitor or repeat visitor, how did he get into your website, whether it's being referred by say Facebook or Twitter or he has typed in your website URL directly, you could go ahead and see that part of it. And how he is navigating through your website, you could also look at that part of it. Okay, so you might want to initiate a proactive chat. So you can say, hello, how can I help you? Okay, so the moment you do that, you'll be saying that there'll be a proactive message that the visitor would be seeing on on the website. Meanwhile, you can also see that which browser he's using, whether he's using Google Chrome or any other browser. This is very important to optimize your website as well. Okay, now if you look at from a visitor standpoint, the visitor on the other hand will get a pop-up like this on the website. Okay, so you can see that this is the pop-up that will be coming on the right hand side, and the visitor can say thank you for reaching out. Now on your side, possibly you'll be interested to know the visitor's name and email ID. So you can say, can I please have your name and email? So you can just get that message out, and the visitor on the other side, they can update their details over here. So you can say Kamal Jalan, and they can put their email address over here, say kamal@gilanconsulting.com. So they can go ahead and update the details over here. Now with all these details, I can continue the chat over here, and you'll be seeing that the system will automatically from the chat inbox itself, it'll automatically create a lead into your CRM system. So how cool is that? So while you're doing a live chat with a visitor, the system automatically will go ahead and create a lead for you in the CRM system. So once this chat is over, of course, you can go ahead and close this chat over here, and automatically the chat transcript, etc., all of these will also flow back into your CRM system over here. You'll be seeing Kamal Jalan has been created as a lead over here. So I get inside this one, I'll be seeing Kamal Jalan has been created as a lead, and if you scroll down, you'll be seeing that the lead source has been mentioned as chat automatically over here, and you could see that all the other details would be captured, like for example, when did you visit it last time on our website, things like that, and the details about the chat would also be captured over here. And after about a couple of seconds, you'll be seeing that the entire chat transcript would also be available within this lead record as an attachment over here. Okay, so that's one of the ways that you could really capture lead from your website. Okay, now let me also go ahead and demonstrate that there are a couple of other ways that you can capture lead. For example, you might be getting possibly leads from via your email as well. Okay, so within this application, the email is part and parcel of this application. So for checking your email, you don't need to really switch back to your email application. So the entire email inbox is going to reside within this application itself. Okay, now it doesn't matter like which email service provider that you're using. For example, you're using Google Apps or any other service provider, it integrates pretty much with any service provider, so that all your emails would be part of your CRM system itself. And whatever emails that you're exchanging with your different leads or contacts automatically would get tagged against the relevant lead or contact. So let's assume that you got a lead, or for example, somebody has inquired like looking for a 2 BHK property over here. So if you need to create that as a lead, what you could really make use of, you can just select this part of it. You can say right click, you can just say add to Zoho CRM. And the moment you do that, you'll be seeing automatically all these fields would be auto-populated for you. Okay. And if you want to fill up the advanced fields as well, you can go ahead and fill up all the advanced fields over there as well. Okay, like how did you get the lead? What is the inbound email over here, things like that. So everything will be captured over here, and then you can go ahead and add this lead over here. Okay, so the lead has been added over here, seeing that this would be added as a lead over here. Okay, all the details that you have captured from that email will automatically be part of this part of over here. Okay, how cool is that? Okay, so that's one of the other ways that you could really go ahead and capture the lead. Now, let me also demonstrate a couple of other ways how you can really capture the lead. So, for example, there could be a lot of people who would be leaving inquiries via your website. So, if I go to the website, so this is a demonstration website that we have over here. Now, over here, people might browse through the different properties that you have listed on your website. And finally, they may decide to leave their details over here. Let's put down the details. Let's say his name is James Williams, and let me put the mobile number over here, the email, so james@gmail.com. Requirement type, for example, he's looking for buying a property, and then he's looking for a new property over here, possibly looking for a residential property, residential apartment, for example. The price, you can put that part of it. Let's say 20 lakhs to, let's say 40 lakhs over here. Okay. You can leave those details like the minimum square foot area, maximum square foot area. These are optional fields over here. Maybe minimum bedroom, possibly the 2-bedroom over here. And also possibly he's looking for, these are the areas he's looking for, like Kolkata East, or for example Kolkata North should also be okay with him. So with all these details, you can leave the details into your website, and you'll be seeing that James Williams has been created as a lead over here. So you can see that James Williams has been created as a lead. So whatever details that James has filled up via the website has been created as a lead in the CRM system. And automatically, there's a follow-up task that has been created as well, which is follow up James Williams. And if you look at, the system has automatically sent an email to this person, which is thank you for your inquiry. Okay, how cool is that? So from the system itself, the email has been triggered, and if now James reply on this specific email, you'll be seeing that same email will be captured not only in your email tab over here, but also against the specific lead in the email section. That email will get tagged over here. Okay, now, so that's also one of the other ways you can go ahead and capture the lead. And the last but not the least, a couple of other things as well, like this application works, kind of integrates kind of very nicely with the social media as well. So whether if people are interacting with you with the Facebook or Twitter or Google Plus, you can really capture them as a lead from the different social media channels as well. Okay, and in case you have a lot of historical leads and you want to import this part of it, you can import all these leads that you're working till date into the system very easily. So it supports different form factors. It could be a CSV file, it could be XLS file, it could be XLSX. So there could be different form factors of this file, so you can really go ahead and import all of these different leads into the system. And it's not only for the leads module, you could import these into different other modules as well. Okay, now let me go ahead and take one specific example and then take the demonstration forward. So let's take the example of James Williams over here. So James Williams has given an inquiry to you via the website. Okay, now you go ahead and have a discussion with James over here. Like for example, I go over there and I have a discussion because there's a follow-up task which has been created by the system automatically. Now please note that this kind of follow-up task, we have set up a workflow rule and via which this has been created. Okay, and the task status is showing not started. Due date is on the same day, because real estate is a very competitive industry, so you need to really go ahead and follow up with the lead on the same day over here. Now if you go to the specific activity over here, whatever discussion that you have with James over here, you can go ahead and capture that into the notes section. So I go over there, I can capture the details. So for example, I can say discussion with James. Okay, so over there I can capture all my notes over here. So I can say had a great discussion and he wanted me to send the recommended properties. Okay, so I go ahead and kind of take the notes over here. All the notes are going to be time stamped over here. There's also one more cool thing. If you notice over here that the system also has got an inbuilt gamification. Okay, so that means that Within your team members, you can really set up a lot of exciting games over here. So you can see the gamification is set up from here on the top. Like for example, you could say, okay, on a given week, if a person can accomplish say 50 different tasks, he'll be given an award. Or for example, on a given week, if a person can convert maybe 10 different leads or 5 different leads, he'll be given an award. So all these different gamifications, you can go ahead and set up this part of it in this application. And the system real time will give you this kind of notification like how far you are from your goal. Okay, so now that this task is completed over here, you can go ahead and close this task over here. Okay, so you have discussed with James over here. Now let me go back to this lead real quick, and whatever the details that I've got after discussing with James over here, I can go ahead and update that part of it. So let me quickly update that part of it. Maybe possibly I've got his landline number as well, so let me update that part of it. Okay, the rating, let me put that this looks to be a warm lead over here. And also let me update a couple of other details over here. Now this is extremely important source over here. Like for example, if you look at the lead status is extremely important. Like when you got the lead for the first time via the website, the status was not contacted, and now that you have discussed with him and you feel that he is interested, you can mark him as interested over here. And in the lead source, when it is coming from the website, it will be automatically marked as website. But of course, if you're getting from different other sources like SMS, referral, or Facebook, or any other sources, all of these, or maybe from a different brokerage agency, all of that, you can go ahead and tag that part of it over here. Okay, now let me go ahead and update the address as well over here for that specific contact person. So let's say this is going to be 15 Kamek Street. Let me update the city as well over here. Then state over here. The zip code over here. And then, of course, the country over here. Okay. So I'm all set from a lead standpoint, and this person is showing a lot of interest, and he has requested me to send the property recommendation. Okay, so that means that since the lead is showing interest, I can possibly take this lead ahead into the sales cycle. I can move it forward. So the moment I need to move forward, what I could really do, that I can really go ahead and convert this lead over here. Now the moment I convert this one, this will automatically create a contact over here, which is James Williams, and it is also asking me whether I want to create a new deal for this contact. Okay, now at this point of time, I don't know what's going to be my deal amount, so I can leave that blank over here. The deal name will be taken automatically by the system. The closing date, let's say that possibly the kind of interest is showing, you would possibly close that by next Saturday, which happens to be 20th. Okay, the stage is going to be, so he looks to be interested, so I put that interested stage. All the other things will be captured automatically, like the category, the type, the requirement category, the location, everything comes over here. In the contact role, he is the decision maker over here, so I put the decision maker, and I go ahead and convert this lead to one contact that got created. So this contact got created over here automatically, which is James Williams, with all the details like the phone number, email, all the other details over here. And there's a deal which is also got created, which is 2 BHK residential apartment for James Williams. Okay, and the next action the system is also suggesting that I need to send a property recommendation to James Williams over here. Okay, and if you scroll down, you'll be seeing that all the information that you had in the lead stage has been carried forward into the contact and into the deal as well over here. Okay, so let me summarize that. The lead looked to be qualified, they were interested, and we have converted the lead, so it has created a contact and a related deal over here. So this is a deal that got created, and in this deal I could see that all the details have been captured over here, like for example, like what's the current stage, the probability, the closing date, what's the current stage over here, and whom to deal with. Like this is the deal for James Williams, and system is also suggesting that send the property recommendation to James Williams over here. Okay, now in order to send property recommendation, we have built a very nice functionality, like it will automatically compare the buyer's requirement vis-a-vis the available property, and it will suggest the property recommendations automatically. So what I need to do over here as a user, I need to say property recommendations created. I need to just change it to yes over here. So I change that. The property recommendation will be created from the system itself by this process. So if I go over there and I go to property recommendations over here, you'll be seeing that the recommendation would be created automatically over here. Like this is the recommendation that's been created into the system itself. So if I go over there, this recommendation has been created into the system, and you could see that all the applicable properties has been listed over here. Like for example, you can see that there are 3 matching properties that matched with the criteria of the buyer has been listed over here. Okay, and each recommendation has been created with a unique recommendation number and the recommendation date as well. Now if you want to see that how does the recommendation looks like, you could go ahead and export that part of it into a PDF template as well. Okay, now by the time it downloads into a PDF, I would also quickly wanted to show you that all this recommendation template you can go ahead and send via email from the system itself. Okay, so that's a very cool functionality. So you don't really leave the system in order to send this kind of email to your prospective buyer. This is the recommendation template which has been created for the system. So for example, this gives the what was the requirement which was initially given by James, like residential apartment, what's the budget, the number of bedrooms, the location, and then the system has automatically given the suggested matching properties over here. Okay, how cool is that? Now the moment the property recommendation is created, you possibly as a user, you can review this part of it, and if you want to add, modify, delete any of these properties over here, you can go ahead and do that part of it as well. Okay, and finally when you decide that okay, you need to send these recommendations to the specific contact person, you can go ahead and send the recommendation from here itself. Now the moment you do that, if you go to the deal module over here, you'd be seeing that the deal itself, the stage has now changed to recommendation sent inside the deals module itself. And the moment you do that, you'll be seeing against the deal, automatically all these 3 properties have been listed for possible feedback from the prospective buyer. So you can see in the property feedback module, all these 3 properties, okay, like these are the 3 properties, has been listed down over here as well. Okay, now as a next step, what you really need to do over here, but by the time you do that, let me quickly close a couple of activities. Like for example, you have already sent the property recommendations, so you can really go ahead and close this part of it. And you can see the system is already suggesting that you need to follow up James Williams for site visit now, because the property recommendation has been sent, so it's possibly time for site visit. So what you could do over here, like in the property recommendation, you could possibly go ahead and set up all the site visit on the same day, or possibly you could set up the site visit on different dates as well. Like for example, if you want to set up on different dates, what you could do over here, like you can go to the property feedback over here, and then you could go ahead and set up maybe the site visit for this one. So site visit is going to be an event over here. So you could say this is going to be a site visit. So this, you can keep the location name over here as well, and then you could give like on which day, what time is going to be the site. Like it's going to be on Monday, maybe what time, you could mention that part of it. Maybe this is going to be on 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 2:30, and what's going to be the type over here, like this is going to be a site visit over here. And then you could go ahead and add the participants over here as well. Like for example, if you were to add a participant over here, this is going to be contact over here, and his name is James. So I can go ahead and search for James over here, so it is James Williams. So I could go ahead and add that part of it, and with all the other details I can go ahead and save this part of it. And then the moment you have added the participant, you can also send a meeting invitation to James as well, so that James can block his calendar for the site visit. I'm saying no, don't send over here for the time being. So you'll be seeing that there will be one site visit which has been organized over here, and this would be available into your calendar as well. Like if I go into your calendar over here and the calendar for Monday over here, you'll be seeing that there will be one site visit that will be displayed over here. Okay, now let me go back to the specific deals over here. So this was the deal that we have been working on that. Now we were on the property feedback, and we have shown you like how to really schedule the site visit. So as and when you keep taking James for one site to another site, you could really go ahead and capture his feedback into the property feedback module. So you can say, you can give the rating, like for example, he has given possibly a 4-star rating, and he has shortlisted this one. So you can go ahead and kind of capture this feedback over here. For the next property as well, you can really go ahead and capture the feedback. Like for example, he possibly has rejected this property, so you can capture this feedback. And finally, maybe for the third property, you can again go over there. This property is something that he has really liked this part of it, and he has selected this property over here. Now the moment he has selected this property, if you go to the deals module, you'll be seeing that inside the deals module, the moment they have selected the property, the stage would automatically be changed to property selected, and the selected property would already be tagged into the offer information as a selected property with the asking price of that property as well. Okay, now by the time, let me go ahead and quickly close the open activity, which was follow up James Williams for site visit. I've already done that part of it, so let me go ahead and close this task over here. So I've closed this task over here. Let me go back to the deals over here. So now the property has been selected, so I need to possibly go ahead and kind of get into the offered part of it over here. Okay, so what I could really go over there, I could really change the status of the particular deal to offer over here. And the moment I do that, I could really capture all the details related to the offer. Like for example, what's going to be the buyer's first offer with the date as well. I can really go ahead and capture this part of it. Like for example, maybe on 13th, he has given the first offer. That out of this 27 lakhs, he has possibly given a first offer of 25 lakhs 50,000. Okay, so you can give this offer over here, and then the seller's first counter offer, you could also go ahead and capture that part of it. Maybe the counter offer was for 26 lakhs 75,000. Okay, so you can really go ahead and capture this part of it, and then on which date the second offer has been given, so you can also go ahead and capture that part of it, maybe on the same day over here. So this could go through multiple iterations, and finally once the offer is accepted, you could go ahead and say, okay, the offer is accepted over here. You can say yes. So that means the final amount is going to be 26 lakhs 75,000. Okay, so that was the final amount over here. And if this application is going to be used by a real estate brokerage firm, they can put their commission percentage over here as well. Like this is going to be 2%, for example. So you can see the commission amount would also come out automatically. Or for example, if this deal is being filled up by a developer as well, and they have involved a real estate brokerage firm, so they can put the commission percentage over there as well, so that they can pay that relevant commission amount to the broker. So the moment the offer is accepted, you'll be seeing that the system is automatically created an action for you, whether that follow-up James, that whether he's keen to receive the contract document over here. Okay, now in order to do that part of it, so what you could really go over there, you can go ahead and follow up whether he's keen to offer the contract document. And once you have sent out the contract document, you could put the contract due date. For example, contract is due to be signed, say, by tomorrow. So you can put that part of it. And of course, once the job has been done, you can go ahead and close this activity over there as well. Like whether he's like you have followed up already with James over here. So you can go ahead and do that part of it, and you can go back over here and you can mention over here that the contract has been out over here. And if the contract is signed also, you can go ahead and update that part of it. So you can say contract has been signed over here, and on the date on which the contract has been signed, so you can capture that part of it as well. So let's say the contract has been signed on 13th itself, and all the other relevant details, like in terms of the closing details, like it could be the buyer's attorney firm name, the bank name, the inspection completion date, the title report, appraisal report, all the details you can go ahead and capture over here itself. Okay, now once all of these things are done, you can go ahead and mark this one as a closed won deal. Okay, so you can review all the information over here and you can go ahead and save this part of it over here. Okay, now if this deal, or if this deal is going to be filled up by a real estate brokerage firm, and if it is, for example, if it's a resale property, they can also raise the invoice on the seller or the landlord directly over here. So they can just say invoice raised on seller and landlord. The moment they say yes over here, automatically an invoice will be created by the system. Okay, however, if the system is going to be used by a real estate developer, what they could really do, they can really go ahead and define the payment milestone against this specific deal over here. So there's in the payment milestone section, you can go ahead and start defining all the different payment milestones over here. So let me go ahead and show you maybe one of the sample payment milestones so that you can really relate this part of it over here. So let me get into this deal. So if you look at into this deal, there are 5 milestones that has been defined over here. Like for example, there could be a payment which is due on the agreement. There could be second payment on the completion of the first floor, on the second floor, third floor, and on possession. So the system will tell you exactly the customer payment due date with the due amount, and automatically the reminder email will be sent out to your sales representative and also to the customer if you wish. Okay, so all of these things you can really go ahead and set up this part of it. So that's the entire life cycle. Okay, as I mentioned, like at every stage, if you want to really raise an invoice to your customers, you can go ahead and raise an invoice to your customer as well. Okay, so for example, you can look at like there's an invoice that has been created for this deal, like James Williams deals over here. And since you mentioned like create an invoice on the seller, if it's a brokerage firm, you can also create that. Or if it is been used by a developer, you could also keep on raising invoice on a milestone basis. Okay, and then if you want to export this part of it to see that how does it look like, let me quickly export this one. So this is the invoice that has been created over here with all the details over here. Like for example, this is for a real estate brokerage firm, but if it's by a developer, you could change all these captions over here, and automatically this will come out from the system itself. And as I mentioned, like even the invoice, you can go ahead and send this invoice via the email from the system itself. So that's the complete life cycle, right from capturing the lead till the time you really go ahead and kind of deliver the invoice to them and start tracking the payment in different milestones. That's how it moves on. And the system has got a lot of other cool analytics over here. So as you keep on working on a day-to-day basis, on a weekly basis, the system creates a lot of powerful dashboards for you. Like for example, this is your favorite dashboards over here. So you can look at all the different analytics which are important. So there are different types of dashboards you have set up. Like you could look at the property dashboard over here. So all the property related information you could see into one single place, like the properties by the property status, which is extremely crucial because it gives you the inventory status over here, your properties by the property category. Then your deal dashboards is also extremely important over here, like the deals by the stage, the deals by the requirement type, the property category, the deals by the sales executive over here, which is crucial. It possibly would be important for you to look at your leads dashboards as well. So so you can look at that distribution as well. And as I mentioned, that you could keep creating reports, you can keep creating dashboards over here. And dashboards are nothing but the pictorial representation of your report. So behind every dashboard, there will be a report which would be available. So if you look at the reports over here, there are so many reports which are available. Like if I go to the all reports section, you can look at all the reports, and then there are different folders available to look at different folders. Like if you want to look at only deal reports, go to the deals reports folder over here. If you want to look at only property reports, go to the property reports folder over here. Okay, and if you want some reports to be sent out to somebody's email inbox, maybe on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, you can go ahead and schedule those reports over here. Like for example, you can say, I want to create a new report schedule over here. So you can choose in which form factor you want to send this report. So you can first choose the report over here. Let's say this report is going to be let me send the lead reports over here. Okay, so it could be possibly leads by requirement type, could be an important report over here. So I choose that part of it, and then I can say, okay, I want to send this report on an Excel format. What could be the starting date? Maybe I want to send this report from tomorrow, and I want this report to be appearing into the recipient's mailbox every day morning at 8 o'clock on the morning. And this should go, so these could be different frequency, maybe on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly or yearly. Let's say I'm defining on a daily basis. And then I could define like whether this should have an end period, on which date it's going to end. So I could define all of these cool things over here. And then I could define that who are going to be the recipients over there. In the recipients definition, I could choose individual users or maybe specific roles or specific groups. So all this flexibility I could have. Okay. So I could choose that part of it. And in case I'm going to send email to somebody outside as well, I could go ahead and use that part of it over here into the email distribution lead. And then I could schedule this report over here. So from now onwards, this report would be available in my mailbox every day morning at 8 o'clock. Okay, so that's the power of this application. So besides the reports and dashboards, of course, all your website visits, etc., would be part of your visits module itself, which will give you like whatever website visits have been made by the different leads, contacts, everything would be available into one single place. And this application integrates very nicely with Google AdWords. So whatever the advertisement that you're making using Google AdWords, you could really see the ROI. Like for example, if you're investing say $100 or $200 or maybe $5,000 in a month with Google AdWords, you can really see that how many leads that you have got out of that, or how many sales you have made out of that investment. So that's really a good way to measure your ROI. Besides that, feeds could be an extremely useful function for you, because feeds will give you an area where you can really collaborate with your other people. Okay, like over here, if I'm working on a deal, I need assistance from somebody else, I can really kind of go ahead and kind of collaborate with them using the feeds module over here. So that's in a summary what the application can do. And as I mentioned, this application is flexible, customizable, and will be there for you to really go ahead and customize this application the way you need. But this application is super powerful. And as a part of the application, we have already built so many cool automations over here. So if you go into the application, you'll be seeing that even in sections like workflow automation, there are so many automations that we have already written, including like property recommendation, and a lot of these automations, like system will automatically tell you that what to do next, so that when you choose this application, you don't need to start from scratch. Okay, all of these will be bundled with this one, and of course you can really improvise on top of that. Okay, so hope you have enjoyed this session, and if you've got any question, you can always shoot me an email. You can talk to me. I'll be more than happy with my team to really go ahead and do a good job for you. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time. I look forward to serving you.